It's the age-old conundrum of an architect. How do you fit all the pieces of the puzzle of daily life into a defined space harmoniously?
And that's made even more challenging when you're trying to fit modern-day living into very small flats, which were designed to be used very differently indeed.
Tonight, we're going to show you through 2 apartments which absolutely prove you can have everything you want in a small space.
By thinking smarter, your housing puzzle can be solved. That was your fault.
So our first apartment is on busy Nicholson Street, opposite the Carlton Gardens and the entry to the Royal Exhibition Building, and a stone's throw from Melbourne CBD.
Built back in 1936 on modernist design principles on the minimalist flat theory. That was to create maximum amenity, minimum floor space and minimum rent.
And to do it, they actually had a couple of communal areas, so things like laundry, dining and cooking facilities. But they also had an option for a home delivery service where you could get your meals delivered through these little tiny hatchets.
Now, let's get back to the future.
Fast forward to the 2000s and strata laws meant that laundries and kitchens had to actually be built into these one-bedroom sitters in spaces that weren't originally designed for them.
The tip here is the architect who owns the house spent 6 months just getting a feel of it before he made a decision. He kept all of those beautiful 1930 deco details like the steel framed door and that beautiful rolling turn from the wall into the ceiling, just those things that made it special. On the floor, it's just cork, and he's continued that all throughout these little spaces.
I'll go check out the bedroom, you check out the bathroom. We'll meet back here later.
Sounds like a simple plan. Well, this was the location of the original bathroom, so no changes there. But here the architect has created 2 spaces out of 1 by putting this beautiful fluted glass, echoing the original design palette with the steel framing. He's also created a separate walk-in robe with that freestanding, elegant basin.
So if you want privacy in your bedroom, then you pull across this dividing wall, which also doubles as great storage for your books. And here you are in your bedroom. Now, obviously, the bed is raised up quite high. Even with the high ceilings, that just helps give it a lovely, cosy feel. But it also provides lots of storage down underneath here. This for your shoes, which doubles as a ladder so you can get up easily. There's room for a laundry. And a gorgeous little nod back to the building's history with this servery hat. So you could have breakfast in bed every day. But where is the kitchen, I hear you ask?
Well, Joe's already revealed half of it, and this sliding door is also wide enough to have a pantry. By opening this side, we not only get a splash of colour, but reveal the full kitchen, which is designed like a Swiss Army knife, a place for everything and everything in its place. Now, most modern-day kitchens are designed around the size of appliances. Not here. It's brought back to the human scale. Everything at arm's length, so it makes making dinner very easy indeed.
Did you say making dinner?
No, I didn't. I'll make you a cup of tea.
Settle for that. It is hard to believe, though, that the architect has managed to fit all of this into a space that is only 25 square metres. But believe it or not, we have one to show you that's in Sydney that's even smaller. Cafe, part of King's Cross, one of the most densely populated parts of Sydney.
Yeah, and apartment living rules here.
Yeah, we're going to be checking out this little 60s design behind us, but I tell you, looking at the outside of the building, it is completely the opposite of what we're going to show you inside.
There is a beautiful little gem.
How cool is this?
I mean, this is only 24 square metres.
So the apartment's called the Bonica, which is Portuguese for the doll's house, and honestly, it does feel a bit like a doll's house.
Well, that's perfect. We've heard about less is more. Well, tiny can be terrific.
It certainly can. I mean, some of the big homes that Pete and I walked through, when you're planning them, you start thinking in terms of square meterage, but here, you start thinking in terms of square millimeterage.
Yes. Because it was a concrete frame building, Joe, they could gut the interiors. What they did then is divide this space down the centre with this open plan living area.
And this kitchen has absolutely everything. A cooktop, an oven, which lots of apartments don't have.
A dishwasher.
A dishwasher and a fridge. They were actually left with this little tiny space, but even that wasn't wasted. It was turned into a cutlery drawer.
Well, the level of detail in this small space is a really mind-bending.
Yeah.
Look, if you don't feel like doing the washing up, this beautiful screen takes care of that.
This is a real feature in this apartment. I mean, it's beautiful to look at. Obviously, the rest of the palette is all white, so it's nice to actually have the feature of timber, but because you can see through the slats, Pete, it does give you that sense of depth.
Yeah, it's really important because it's backlit, but then it reveals your sleeping area.
Well, you check out that. So into the bathroom. Oh, excuse me, it is a bit tight for you. We did say it's small, but not really when you get down to this part. I mean, this is a good-sized bathroom. You've got your shower, your toilet, your basin, and at that end, you've got 2 double robes and a dressing room. A full-length mirror from floor to ceiling, which both entices you in and gives a great sense of space.
This little sleeping nook is very, very snug. I've got a custom-made little shelf here, and that's all I need because my clothes storage is on the bathroom side. Some storage at the end of the bed, which is all I need. And I've just noticed this splayed wall, which opens up the perspective of the rest of the room. And when you enter the space, you get a full appreciation of these north-facing windows. So there's a real sense of grandeur in what is a very small space.
Pete, sleeping on the job again.
Caught me.
I don't know about you, when I look through a tiny apartment like this, I'm always left wondering just how much space do we really need?
Look, I think it's perfect for one person, but for a couple, I mean, could we live here together? We drive each other nuts.
We drive each other nuts if we were on a 100-acre property, to be honest.
But there's some really good ideas which are really relevant for the next generation, for granny flats, for our kids and our grandchildren. They're going to have to be living in spaces this big, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it might be small on space, but it's big on ideas.